Best of luck. Close enough. Before we get started, the board met in closed session. No formal action was taken. We did not finish closed session, so we'll be going back into closed session at the end of the regular scheduled meeting. I would like to start out by thanking Viewig STEM Academy way out in the back for being our greeters tonight. Thank you, Viewig. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for Sierra Sands Unified School District for December 18th. We'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by the Vice President, Mr. Campbell. We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Move on to item 1, adoption of the agenda. Any changes?
No changes.
Move on to item 2, good things. Anyone have any good things going on?
I've got a good thing, but my microphone.
There it goes.
You have one working? You keep working on that, I'll use your microphone.
Okay, we'll switch.
Well, you stay put. So I just wanted to share that my wife and I have the pleasure of having 3 of our grandkids living with us at the present time, and what a wonderful opportunity to spend time with young adults as they start their life. It's been a wonderful time.
Thank you, Mr. Ferris. Any further comments?
I would like to make a comment on the amazing concert that was performed at the PAC Center at Burroughs. The music and the vibrations that came out of voices and instruments are just never to be, like, it's always amazing when you go, and it just fills your body with sound and vibes and toe tapping fun. So I suggest you go if you can, because it's a good thing. And there are kids that are doing it also, and our wonderful teachers that teach them. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And I thought you were going to talk about the groundbreaking today. The
Oh,
city of
well, that too.
Ridgecrest
There's
had the
plenty to go around.
groundbreaking for their pool.
Yes.
It's supposed to be done in about 18 months. So it'll be nice to see the new penny pool. So,
Yes.
anything further?
That
We'll
too.
move on to item 3, approval.
I was going to say
Oh, go
one
ahead.
thing. I went to the Channel 8 winter concert last week, and it was packed. I mean, we had the beginners, and then we had the next group, and then we had the singers, and Channel 8 did an awesome job. So I just want to congratulate them on a great winter concert. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to item 3, approval of minutes of the special and regular meeting of November 20th, 2025. Any changes? These minutes will stand. Move on to item 4, programs and presentations. 4.1, student performance.
Oh, yeah. This thing is
That set the tone for the holidays. It's kind of weird because I was out in shorts and flip-flops, and here I'm listening to Christmas music. So, good job. Mr. Ferris, I'm surprised you don't have a comment about that.
I thought it might seem a little biased.
Yes, yes. Move on to item 5, no public hearings. We'll move on to item 6, reports and communications. 6.1, student board members report. Jasmine's out on an excused absence tonight. Mr. Campbell will be reading her report for her.
See, Mr. Scott created some issues last time, and that's why
I know.
she's not here, and so now I get to read this again with all the acronyms that I'll probably screw up, but that's okay. Here we go. This is Vuig STEM Academy. Vuig STEM Academy has had a productive and engaging month filled with academic celebrations, family involvement, and student enrichment activities. We recently held another successful awards assembly recognizing students for their achievements and positive contributions to our school community. Our winter program took the form of a STEM family night, which included hands-on activities and a recorded performance from each class to be compiled in a winter program video. We were proud to have 2 Vuig parents who work on bass lead session, Alita Johnson, who led an engaging session on ciphers, and Mike Peterson, who presented on parachutes and the planetarium. Big thank you to you both. Their contributions added tremendous value to the evening and strengthened our connection with the broader community. Our fall book fair, also featured at our winter rally night, was highly successful and enjoyed by students, family, and staff alike. To support enrollment efforts, Vuig hosted its first School of Choice Information Night with a second session scheduled for January 12th. Students in our Project Lead the Way flight and space class participated in an exciting field trip to the China Lake Museum, coinciding with the relocation of the Harrier aircraft from the base to the museum Monday, an unforgettable learning experience for all who attended. In addition, our 7th and 8th grade students enrolled in music at China Lake Junior High participated in the winter concerts proudly representing Vuig STEM Academy. We also launched our first Hornet Day as part of our PBIS program, which was well received and helped reinforce our positive school culture. As we wrap up 2025, our staff and students are looking forward to a well-deserved winter break. China Lake Junior High School. As we approach the conclusion of a semester, China Lake Junior High School students continue to demonstrate perseverance and commitment to learning. Despite the increased academic demands that come with the end of the term, students remain focused and engaged in their coursework. Campus activities have provided meaningful opportunities for connection and school spirit. Our winter dance, held last week, was well attended and offered students a positive and enjoyable social experience. Additionally, basketball tryouts are currently underway, generating excitement and encouraging students' participation in athletics. To support student well-being during this busy time, Therapy Dogs visited our campus last week, providing comfort and stress relief for students as they prepare for finals. Teachers are actively engaged in administering and grading final assessments while continuing to support student success. As the semester comes to a close, the entire school community is looking forward to a winter break as an opportunity to rest, recharge, and return refreshed and ready to begin the second semester strong. Mesquite Continuation High School, All Ed. The Joint School Site Council met to review the school safety plans, student performance data, and expenditure priorities. We not only had parents, but a full contingent of student involvement. Both schools celebrated the onset of the holiday season with spirit days ranging from Polar Express Pajama Day to winter colors and ugly sweater days. University Technical Institute presented to the school last week to discuss trade school opportunities, scholarships, and how lifetime earnings can be positively impacted. Finals are wrapping up, and staff and students are excited for the holiday, but some moms and dads have shared that they are already excited for school to start again. Okay. Here we go. MHS. We are now up to Mesquite High School. We are now up to 11 graduates, and that does not include those who are expected to finish tomorrow. Several students interested in military career took the ASVAB this week, and they will have the opportunity to explore their scores and career pathways after our return to session. To celebrate the graduates, the staff donated supplies to have a ham sandwich feast in honor of the holidays. High Desert School. The winter dance was a great success. And the Mesquite High School students were even invited to participate. Almost a quarter of the school was in attendance. Thank you, family, for the donations of decorations and help in making it all happen. Middle college. Students wrapped up their first College 101 course, and they are now signed up for Art 101 and Library 100. Students created a gallery walk for families to display their passion projects, and several brave students even gave an oral presentation to families to explain the development, research, or iterations of their project. Go Bobcats and Dragons. Burroughs High School. As we end the semester, Burroughs can say it's had a great first half of the year. Filled with exciting events, school spirit, and commitment to learning, our Burroughs have continued to amaze us with their enthusiasm and hard work. Fall sports came to a close with Silas Eberer coming in 10th place at the state cross-country meet. Winter sports have taken off with the soccer, basketball, and wrestling making steady progress through their season. Last Friday, BHS hosted STEM Day. STEM Day went fantastic with different departments on base giving presentations to our science, special ed, math, CTE, and CTE classes. On the 5th, our ASB hosted its Teachers Night Out, where they watched the children of BHS teachers in order to give them a much-deserved break. As a whole, Burroughs raised over $900 for the North Pole fundraiser. ASB and the cheer team volunteered their time helping at the North Pole. Orchestra, band, and choir had their winter concerts last Tuesday and brought music into this festive time of the year. Jinglegrams were sold to spread Christmas cheer from one Burroughs student to another. Tomorrow, students will complete their final exams for the semester and head off to a much-deserved holiday break. Happy holidays from BHS.
Thank you, Robert. Move on to item 6.2, reports from members of the board. Mr. Ferris?
So since our last meeting, a couple of things I was able to attend I want to share with you. The California School Boards Association board met and the delegate assembly met. The association is really strongly providing leadership for the state of California to really get a program in high gear to finally make some difference on closing the achievement gap. There's been a challenge for a lot of years, and we're not making very much headway, and we really feel like we need to find a way to increase our efforts as a state to really make a difference. During the delegate assembly, we did have breakout sessions where all the folks from their regions, from their districts brought input and our district provided input to that discussion as well about, okay, what can we ask the state to do to make it, to help us move forward? Where do we need to ask the state to step out of the way and let us do our function? And what do we need to do to improve the differentiated assistance program? And the sense here is that what happens at the district level is often really not related to those at the state level, and this effort is really a means of trying to make a difference in that, so that we can really do what's effective for our kids and focus on our in-school curricular academic improvement, which we know we all have challenges with, and we want to focus on that and improve that. We also received updates on legislative and political landscape, kind of what's going on throughout the state. It's very informative. And then, of course, that was followed up by the annual education conference, which all of you attended as well. There were the first general session, as you know, we were able to have most all of the major gubernatorial candidates in a panel discussion, which very helpful for us to understand where exactly they stood, specifically on the areas of education. I was able to attend a presentation called Growing Your Own, which had a kind of a CTE focus on how you can develop employees for teachers and paraprofessionals and get young people started and interested in education at a young age. Let's see, and then of course the third general session, which I know not everybody got to, was pretty exciting. We had this really high-powered presenter who was this major league expert on AI, and one of her first quotes she opened with was a quote from a Burroughs High School graduate, Dr. William Haseltine. So that was pretty impressive to have that. It didn't say BHS graduate on the screen, but it was true. And then, of course, I also had the advantage, as Mary did, the opportunity and the privilege to attend the Burroughs High School music presentation, and what an exciting evening of excellent music. And it's certainly impressive and moving to see what those kids can accomplish and what kind of opportunities are being provided to them through this school district. So that's my report.
I can follow on. As Bill said, we all went to the California School Board Association annual education conference last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? It's been a blur. Yeah. And one awesome thing is our school district was awarded a Golden Bell Award, which Bill was remiss to do. So I think it's right there on the front.
There it is.
So that's a great honor to get a Golden Bell, which is essentially exemplifies one of our programs that our district does, and it was a standout among the state programs. So it was awesome. And then past week, I got to go to Burroughs and spent the day at the STEM Day. It's always great seeing the kids interacting with the scientists and engineers and technicians on the base, and kind of give them opportunities to see what's going on behind the fence for maybe future careers on base. So that's my report for tonight. Thanks.
I also got to go with Tim to the STEM event over at Burroughs High School, and it was kind of nice because Tim knows a lot of stuff about what's going on that stuff, so he kind of gave me a little indoctrination on the different things as we moved around, so that was great. And also, I got to visit Viewig, which it's really cool to see the STEM school in action. I just can't say enough great things about STEM schools over at Viewig and Pierce, and I just think it's going to be, in years to come, it's really going to really blossom and really do some great things for our high school as we move along. I got to attend a couple basketball games over at Burroughs High School, which was kind of nice. I haven't been to a couple basketball games in a while. No, they didn't let me play. They don't even let me ref anymore. And I would say that I got a special little blib on the play from Burroughs High School. They did, I think it was some Shakespeare. We came in just as they were starting. It was a Christmas type thing over they did at Viewig, and that was cool to see that. So had a great time. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. We'll move on to item 6.3, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Moore?
Thank you, President Scott. Our month 3 enrollment dropped a little bit at 4,886, which is 35 students lower than this time last year. Attendance remains a key focus, and we're excited to see how our schools and families are responding to this priority area. Our attendance for month 3 was 93%, which was up from 90.4 at this time last year. So really appreciate all the work our students, families, and staff are doing. We are still aiming for our overall goal of 94%, so a little bit more work to do, but we are doing well towards that goal. As was mentioned, the CSBA meeting and our Golden Bell Award for student-centered coaching. So we do encourage everyone to take a look. This is a shared reward district-wide with our teachers and our amazing district-wide TOSAs and projects teachers and all the people involved in making that happen. The 26-27 School of Choice application window opened December 1st and will close on January 15th. And this annual process is an important opportunity for families to choose if that's the best educational setting for their children or if they'd like one of our other wonderful schools that is within their boundary. We had information nights, as was mentioned earlier, and additional opportunities for finding out about these programs will be available in the new year. Our fall cohort of the Leadership Development Seminar concluded this week, marking the graduation of another class of emerging leaders within our district. I'm incredibly proud of the staff at all levels, classified, certificated, and management, who chose to invest their time in enhancing their leadership skills and learning together. Their commitment to growth and collaboration strengthens our district and benefits our students. And I appreciate the board members and cabinet members who were guest visitors to share their leadership journey and leadership tips along the way. A major milestone is the recent approval of the Memoranda of Understanding with our 3 unions, outlining how we are partnering to provide expanded learning opportunities to students across our district. Notably, the new CSEA MOU creates a pathway for every classified staff member to work 40 hours per week with full benefits. This achievement has been a longstanding goal, and we're thrilled to see it realized. The first round of applications for these expanded roles has concluded, and staff are in the process of notifying applicants of their assignments. With state funding has prioritized this program over several years, and we anticipate continued growth and success in this program as we go forward this year and to come. And I'm looking forward to, over the break, spending time with family and friends, returning refreshed, and encourage our staff and families to do the same. We wish everyone a joyful holiday season and Happy New Year. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Move on to item 6.4, report to the Board of Trustees by the Desert Area Teachers Association. Eileen?
I forget. Also, I've been told that's my cord. That's my power cord. I can't forget it. That's just for everyone to remind me. It's from the PAC. Okay, so the View kids are really cool. It's always fun to see them all bias. They've got really good teachers over there. And also, they were like just gorgeous hearing those kids sing. I'm like, oh, I can't cry. But I just want to say that of the kids standing there singing so beautifully, all but 4 have auditioned for the spring play, which I think is cool. And I have the cast list, but they don't see it till Friday, so I let them know that I had it on my phone, so they were kind of annoyed with me. But it is really cool to see, because it's kind of easy to get bogged down because we're teachers and we really care. And truly our goal, right, is teaching and everything that entails, right? Like getting kids to realize what they can do and take responsibility. And because we care, it's easy to kind of get caught up on the few who aren't getting it, right? Like I had a handful that fail, and we tend to look at that because we want better. And so it's really great when we get to see the kids performing, which, you know, this town's very arts friendly, but it was just such a kick. I was so glad I was here for that. And my company class was at the Viewig and Pierce, which is really great that I can take the company kids out and do performances, and then we'll do it in the spring. So that's the self-promotion. So things are really hectic, of course. Elementary teachers, I don't know why they teach there, but they are doing all the winter shows. Oh, I don't think I greeted you all. I'm so sorry. I just realized colleagues, and I should have started with President Scott. Sorry. Okay, so they work really hard getting all the programs together, but also they're doing tests this week, which blows my mind. And the kids are like kind of excited at, you know, at the high school, we've got the minimum days because we have the finals. Some of us still have 2 sets of essays to grade. So it's a fun time. It's also a lot going on. But things aren't perfect, but we had that beautiful singing. And so I'll be back in January to give you my litany of things for improvements. But things are good at sites. We're excited about being off for, I think it's 4 weeks this year. And we'll see you next month.
Thank you, Eileen. Happy holidays. Move on to item 6.5, report to the Board of Trustees by the California School Employees Association. Sylvia.
Hello, School Board President, board members, Superintendent, Dr. Moore, staff and community. I have to write it down or I'll forget like Eileen. So the hot topic in our monthly chapter meeting was the possible hiring of 14 paras from the Philippines. Lots of questions and concerns were brought up. I will say that when I brought it up after my luncheon with Dr. Moore, the biggest issue and punch in the gut to our paras, which brought some of them to tears that have been working for the district for 10 plus years, is the guaranteed hours, 40 hours a week. We have had paras trying to get more hours for a long time. Nothing previously has come available that will fit the schedule they have. Now, with that being said, we are aware of the ELOPE program to help the part-time employees become whole and benefit from the total compensation package that the district often talks about, which we all know more than half of our current classified staff do not benefit from, as they only work part-time hours. But that part of the ELOPE program to make them whole has not started, and I've spoken to several paras that have applied, and they have stated that they have not been contacted yet. We all know that we are in need of paras. We all know that we do not want to contract out, as that costs the district more money. I have stated many times that if we could put some work onto our pay scale, that we would not have such a high turnover rate. However, we are in the predicament that we are with our pay scale because there were quite a few years we didn't see any movement on our pay scale except for the raising of minimum wage. We fight tooth and nail to get something on the pay scale, but are often told there is never any money. However, we spend lots of money traveling overseas and all over the United States as celebrated on the SSUSD social media, which is not cheap. If we could put more money on our pay scale, then maybe we wouldn't have so many open positions. A huge concern with the guaranteed 40 hours is what they will be doing after school gets out if there are not any ELOP positions available. I know of many paras that have tried to become bus monitors, but there aren't any positions. I know we are not creating 40-hour para positions. They will be offered the ELOP program and or bus monitors, but what if there are not any of those available, since our current paras will have seniority over them? We are still gonna have a need for paras, but we may not need them for longer than 5.5 hours, but they have to work 40. There are still so many unanswered questions for the ELOP program, which has prevented some paras from applying. They definitely need more info on it, and then maybe more will apply. We hope to get some more information, and as we head into negotiations soon, that we can make some significant changes to our pay scale so that we can attract more people to want to work for the district, because at one time, working for the district was a highly sought after job. See y'all next year.
Thank you, Sylvia. Enjoy the holidays. Move on to item 6.6, communications from the public. The board will provide time during the discussion of each agenda item for members of the public to comment. At this time, members of the public may address the board on an item not on the agenda. Comments should relate to items of public interest within the board's jurisdiction. The law prohibits the board from taking action on items not on the agenda. If appropriate, your comments will be referred to staff for response. When addressing the board, please state your name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. In accordance with the board bylaws, the board will limit the total time for public input to 30 minutes. Those wishing to address the board beyond the 30-minute time limit may do so at the end of the scheduled meeting agenda. I'll open up public comment at 6:35.
My name is Andrea Burgoyne. I am a special education teacher at Pierce Academy of the Arts. I just wanted to reflect today on the value added in our paraeducators and the support from what they do for us in the classroom, how valuable they are to us as special educators. I could not do my job without them. And I've had the pleasure of working with some highly qualified paraprofessionals. But I see that, you know, we have this portrait of the graduate up here. We're talking about seeking out highly qualified and supported staff, right? And I think it would be important to have questions like, how can we invest in our classified staff? Because a little background about me is I came here in 2017, and I was a para, and I worked at Starbucks. And I may not have earned my master's in special education had I not been a paraprofessional in the classroom. I had a bachelor's degree, but that doesn't guarantee, obviously, employment. So I understand what it's like to be in their shoes and working 2 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. And I think a question we should ask is, how can we invest in the people that we do have and the value added that they bring to the table? So how can we, within the community, because I agree that it's important to embrace diversity, and I think it's great that, you know, in the field of education, we can see that we're seeking out speech and language pathologists across the United States. In the field of education, it's very difficult to retain highly qualified teachers. But I think that if we want to focus on how, you know, like we're growing as a community, and how can we continue to invest in these people who, they work really hard and they're amazing. And I can tell them every day that I say thank you, I appreciate what you do, but they also have to you know, make a living, and there's such a high turnover rate. How can we keep that retainment? I guess that's a question I have for you. And then also, I wanted to make a note. I had the pleasure of hearing and seeing Pierce Academy of the Arts has their winter program performance tomorrow, and I was really, really excited and proud to see all the students and how hard they worked to perform. And so that was just a little shout out for them. I'm really proud and excited of my school, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily, for letting me go before I lose my nerve. My name's Lucia Wetzel. I work at Pierce Academy of the Arts currently, and I've been a paraprofessional in some way, shape, or form in different job titles for the district for 24 years. I did apply for one of the ELOPE positions. I'm one of those people who has not heard back about that, and I have inquired and sent follow-up emails. But I'm worried it wasn't clear. Many of the paras that I work with on a daily basis did say that the job announcement looked different than any other job announcement that's flown. That the top of the job announcement was only about the supervisors, and you had to read 2 or 3 paragraphs down to even see that there were other positions available. The Zoom call with Mr. Ald and many people that I was on in the parking lot of Walmart in my car, we had less than 24 hours notice that that was even happening for us to ask questions. Many of the paras I work with were just unaware that that job announcement was going to enable them to work more hours. I'm one of the lucky ones. I have a husband that works really hard in his job as a mechanic, and I can afford to make less. There are so many paras I've seen over the last 20 years that cannot afford that have had to take jobs selling phones at AT&T, that have had to make coffees at Starbucks and Dutch Bros because they can make more. And these are great people who work so well with these kids. There are so many things that happen on a school campus because of a para. All of these things that I have done over the years would fall onto a teacher who they work so hard for our kids. And our paras are the backbone of making sure our most vulnerable students can access our curriculum. They're the drivers of the car. The teachers make the plans, the teachers plan out the maps, the teachers provide everything, but the paras are the drivers of the car. The paras are the ones on the playground making sure that student plays appropriately with other kids. The paras are the reason my own autistic daughter was able to graduate and join in the choir that you saw there. The paras are the ones that are making it happen. Over the years, I've taken every single opportunity that I've even remotely had time for to further my education through the district was CPI training, CPR, CKH, pivotal response treatment, autism behavioral training, and I think I've put it to great use, but our salaries have not risen with the inflation, and it's disheartening to see that admin positions continue to multiply and their salaries continue to grow, and ours don't. It just doesn't fit with what we're doing. So if you want us to keep helping Junior Olympics, Student Council, Drama Club, Talent Show, Winter Program, Spelling Bee, and taking all of this off the plates of the teachers, please help us show that we're worth what you're willing to give people that are new.
Hi, I'm Emily Slatkowski. I'm one of the Sierra Sand speech pathologists. As employees, we are pretty often told that the district can't afford to pay us more, and yet we see examples over and over again of if they wanted to, they would. The district is able to find the money to pay contracted SLPs, SLPAs, and pairs significantly more than you are paying your directly hired employees. The district is able to find money to create new administrative positions all over the place that come with salary increases and perks that are not afforded to their employees that are boots on the ground with students day in and day out. For example, in the new deputy superintendent position that you're discussing later this evening, professional association dues and professional development as some benefits on top of the already high salary. I've been told that this all needs to be negotiated at the union level, but I also know that the district is just as capable of presenting ideas at the negotiations table as the unions are. So
That's
if
an
you
agenda
wanted to,
item, so this is
you would.
public comment for things not on the agenda. So if
Great.
you have something to talk about that's on the agenda, wait until then, please.
Great, I'll add that then later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Scott, members of the board, and Superintendent Moore. My name is Deidre Mangum, and I'm a third and fourth grade SDC teacher at Fowler this year. I've been in the district for about 4 years, and I wanted to express some concerns regarding the district's approach to hiring international professionals. First, I find it deeply concerning that we are bringing the international paraprofessionals at 40 hours a week while many of our already hired paraprofessionals are not given the same opportunity. Many of our current paras want and need full-time work, yet until recently, positions were rarely posted at 40 hours. Even more concerning, current employees are often not informed that they can increase their hours through the new ELO program, bus duty, or other assigned responsibilities to reach a full-time schedule. This creates an inequitable situation where local staff are overlooked while new hires are guaranteed opportunities that were never clearly offered to those already here. These options are also not advertised in hiring information for para positions in the district. Second, I am concerned about the lack of training and paraprofessional development provided to paraprofessionals overall. We already struggle to provide sufficient training days and ongoing support for the paras we currently employ. We have not had any paraprofessional training that I am aware of as of this year, and we have had new hires this year who have not been trained, and one of them is in my room. Adding new paraprofessionals from another country who may not be familiar with our educational system, special education laws, classroom expectations, and student needs without a strong training structure places unrealistic burdens on classroom teachers. Teachers should not be expected to fully train paraprofessionals on the job while also meeting the complex needs of students. We do have very good paras, some very good paras here, but those are ones who have been in the district for a long time, like Miss Leisha Wetzel. And they have had the opportunity to have a lot of training through that. But our new paras are not getting enough training. And I am scared that that will happen with the new international paraprofessionals. Lastly, I've seen firsthand that significant challenges faced by international teachers brought into the district under similar circumstances. Those experiences do not give me confidence that we are setting international paraprofessionals or our students up for success. I strongly urge you guys and the district to first invest and fully utilize the paraprofessionals we already have and advertise these positions in our community to transparently offer full-time opportunities to current employees and to establish meaningful training and paraprofessional development before expanding international hiring. Our students deserve stable, well-supported staff, and our employees deserve fairness and respect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm reading on behalf of Bernie, custodian at Richmond. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here because the custodial staff in this district is being pushed past its limits, and the situation is affecting the safety, cleanliness, and basic functioning of our schools. This is a serious problem that needs to be addressed. While custodians may not have as many open positions as some other classified groups, the time available to complete even basic cleaning tasks has become increasingly limited. Large facilities, heavy event schedules, insufficient staffing, and constant demands on our time make it difficult to maintain our buildings to the standard our students and staff deserve. The workload is no longer realistic, and the result is that schools and classrooms are being left in conditions that, in my view, are simply unacceptable. In our district, the average custodian is responsible for more than 19,300 square feet and is expected to clean each classroom in approximately 15 minutes. That is not enough time. It does not matter how hard we work, those expectations are impossible to meet. When custodians raise concerns to propose solutions, we are often told, I don't know, we need to check with another department, or we'll get back to you. Unfortunately, those follow-ups rarely come. Most often, our concerns and requests are simply just disregarded. The situation at the new flagship Richmond site is the clearest example of what custodians across the district are facing. The Richmond buildings contain 50 restrooms, 60 spaces to clean, and covers 78,000 square feet, a 59% increase from the original location. Yet, it opened with the same custodial assignments, 2 full-time and 2 part-time positions, with the part-time roles only intermittently filled. It took over 2 months just to approve the hire of a third full-time custodian, and the remaining part-time coverage is still inconsistent. Despite repeatedly offering ideas, both temporary and long-term, our input as classified staff is often dismissed. From the start of the summer, custodians repeatedly requested access to the new school so we could plan, prepare, and support a smooth opening. We were denied access. We also began asking about equipment and supplies. No answers. Then in July, 1 month before school opened, we learned that no custodial equipment had been ordered at all. We immediately submitted equipment requests and placed orders for supplies ourselves. At that time, we continued asking whether the 2 part-time custodial positions would be covered again. We got, I don't know, and we'll check. We were finally granted access to the building just 5 days before school opening. Custodial equipment and only partial supplies arrived 4 days before opening. At that point, we had no choice but to reach out to the colleagues across the district to borrow equipment and get help just to make the school presentable for day 1. And the first week, instead of setting up our spaces and establishing cleaning supplies, we spent it moving furniture and helping teachers unpack because the building wasn't ready. Coverage of the 2 part-time shifts was inconsistent from the start. 1 week covered, the next week not. Even after a third full-time custodian was finally approved, no one could tell us when interviews would happen or when that person would actually start. We offered several temporary solutions to keep the school clean and functional. Every one of them was dismissed. And today, while we technically have 1 part-time custodian assigned, the attendance for that position has been sporadic at best. This is not a staffing plan. This is a crisis being held together by the dedication of custodians who are doing everything in their power
So
not
you're
to
gonna
let
have to wrap it
students
on
into
up
the
and
building that
pass
isn't
time.
safe and clean.
Thanks.
Good evening, board members, superintendent. I'm Billy Davis. All right, I was currently, prior here back in July, y'all might remember me as I was speaking passionately about my daughter and her incident, right? I also requested some things from y'all, and it's been 6 months, I have not yet received it, right? So ongoing, right, the principal of the junior high has continually had those same things that went on at the school, and the same actions have been taken. Nothing. Maybe a little thing in a database, but that's it, right? So I request again that I want that principal, Dave Andreson's training jacket. I want to see what he has been trained on, and that is not confidential. And by the way, did you know that principal did not know the difference between confidential and non-confidential information? That's alarming, because how long has he been in the system, right? In that meeting as well, I learned a lot of things. I also learned that we renewed the superintendent's contract and that we started saving money through electric means, right? We did electric contracts and try to save the money, right? A lot of the money that we save can go to these professionals, correct? But on top of the electricity that we're trying to save money on, what do we go out and do? We buy a lot of gas guzzlers. The Suburbans. Why? Why are we wasting $100,000 on vehicles that are V8 gas guzzlers when you have electricity infrastructure coming in? That $300,000 go to the paraprofessionals that helps y'all out. That all this stuff that y'all are approving is contributing to an issue that is forming right here in this chamber. That seems alarming. So I'll leave you with that. I mean, I feel like this district has a lot of good programs. My children love being here, but I see a lot of issues along with the teachers, the paraprofessionals that I talk to on a daily basis. I love my teachers, I love my paraprofessionals. I personally don't have a paraprofessional, but I know there are a lot of passionate people. They love their jobs, and I love them as well, right? And I want to get them paid as much as possible. But it seems like there's a lot of misappropriated ideas, not funds, because that's, insinuating other things, right? Ideas that come out and say, hey, we should put money over here, well, we should be putting money, invest into the teachers, because they invest into our kids. I don't see any investments into extracurricular activities. There's a lot of fundraising that we have to do for that as well. And it just seems like money's going in the wrong direction. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
Good evening, esteemed members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Moore, community, colleagues. I am a school bus driver. My name is Cody Hansen. I am an out-of-town field trip driver. I've only been in the district 4 years, licensed as a driver for 3 of those years. This is my 3rd time speaking to you in the last couple of years. I'm trying to get more confident talking to you guys. I work with these paras on a day in, day out basis. We have very differing circumstances with each special needs student, from mild, moderate, mild severe, and severe. We have a student that is at Richmond Elementary that these paras deal with on a daily basis and struggle on a daily basis. They're always understaffed. Every time we go in the morning, someone's not there, someone called out, we all have lives, things come up, I get it. They need help. We need help because, like they said, they're also bus monitors, right? Now we don't have bus monitors on the bus because we don't have enough paras. It's a domino effect, right? So please help these guys. Help us. I'm a driver too. I make over $20 an hour. I'm a single person. Can't live on my own. Can't even afford to live in La Mirage. Worst place in town. No offense, but we all know what it's called. I'm not gonna say it. I can't live there. I can't afford it. I need help on my pay scale too. But they need it more. Please, help us. Help us, help you, help them. Because we all need help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and to the board members, Dr. Moore, and to all the staff that's standing. My name is Tammy Thomas, and I am a Buick librarian. I'm going to finish Bernie's speech here. It says, the power is not to let students walk into the building that isn't safe. And Richmond is not the only concern. District-wide realignment and the summer disruption, the custodian flow across multiple campuses. Right as one brand-new school was opening, 2 others were being converted into magnet schools. These decisions were made without any consulting with the maintenance, leadership, lead custodian, or custodian staff. On top of that, the expansion of the ELOP program means elementary school spaces are used continuously from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is 3 extra hours daily, and extra mess, and extra wear, and without any added custodian time or support. We cannot keep our school clean under these conditions. We cannot meet impossible expectations with shrinking times and consultants, staffing, and no voice in the decisions that directly affects our work. We are asking firmly and clearly for actions, not another delay, not another we got to get back to you. Our students cannot learn in a safe and unclean classroom and our custodian staff cannot keep carrying the impossible workload. And not only that, we also can't function without our parents as well, because not only do they help in our kids on the blacktop, in the classroom, but they also help this librarian right here, because there's a lot of times I have to ask these parents for help to even get my job done. They come in, they fill in whatever hours they can get just so they can have a full day of pay. So I'm asking and I'm pleading for not only my custodians and my paraprofessionals, I'm also completing for the library position as well, because we don't always have a good budget for books and things for the school. What is wrong with that problem? You know what I mean? How you expect us to teach if we cannot teach with our proper supplies, our proper cleaning, our proper pairs, our proper just support, period. You know, yes, we all support each other, and yes, we like each other, but we are drained and we're losing fight because we don't have enough what we need to help us do these jobs. So please, everybody, we need to figure out how we can figure out our money. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, school board members. My name is Jocelyn Ortiz. I'm a paraprofessional at Gateway Elementary School. And speaking in regards of being understaffed for paraprofessionals and bringing in 14 international paraprofessionals, I know when I applied for my position at Gateway, it took me and 2 other staff members calling multiple times to get my application looked at and all of my information and just all of that to go through for me to actually start my position. And I know multiple people who have applied and never received a callback or an email or anything to get their position. So in regards to being understaffed, people are applying. They're just not getting a call back, and they want these positions and they do call and then they don't get a call back. And it took me like a couple weeks to receive a call back and have other people calling for me to get me into Gateway. And also for offering them 40 hours a week. I know multiple paraprofessionals, one in specific, she really liked her position, but it wasn't enough to support her and her family, and she had to leave her position, and was really sad for her and all of us because we really enjoyed having her. But if she was offered that, I'm sure she would have stayed. Same with other paraprofessionals who aren't blessed enough to have other people in their household supporting them, or like myself, I still live with my parents, but if I wanted to move out, I wouldn't be able to afford that with the salary that I'm on. But that's all I have to say, so thank you.
Thank you.
Do I talk in this? Hi, my name is Sam Hain Johnson. I am the custodian at Mesquite. I've never done this before, so that's why I was asking her if I talk into this. So, regarding the whole Bernie thing that Sylvia was talking about earlier, the custodian at the new site, I helped him out during the summer for a little bit because he was struggling a lot. He was originally the custodian at Mesquite, and then he transferred over there so that he could help his wife. And he said, hey, can you help me out a little bit? And I said, sure. There was a lot of stuff to do during the summer, a lot of stuff. There were boxes everywhere in every single classroom, and as soon as you took them all out, back the next day. Like Sylvia said, he was out of a lot of things during that time, and the main reason why I came up here is because, I'm trying to remember, about a month ago, Bernie messaged me and said, hey, I want to ask you, before asking anyone else, is it okay if if they approve it, is it okay if you help out, like in the mornings or something? because they did not have like part-timers sometimes for those part-time positions as custodians. And I said, if you get the approval, yes, I am definitely here for you. He was denied the help, and apparently he also asked if he could get other custodians to help him out, and he was also denied that as well. So I know that Bernie is probably the best custodian I know. He is an amazing person, an amazing employee, and I know he needs all the help that he needs over there. I think that's all. Thank you.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Moore. My name is Andrea Miller. I'm a para 2 at China Lake Junior High in the life skills classroom. I've been working for the district since 2019. When I first started working here, I received a lot of training by a lot of great people. Elaine Littleton, Susie Ernst, I mean, they were the best to learn from. And things were great. Now, this year and previous years, the morale is the problem. Our pay is terrible, yes, and I also work as a bus monitor, and I also do in-home care. That's another job to try to make ends meet because we don't make the money. But I feel the main problem with the shortage of paras isn't so much the pay as it is morale and the lack of training that some of them get. I mean, we are in the trenches. We deal with some pretty tough kids on a daily basis. Some that have behavioral issues, some with medical issues. I mean, it's not just fed. We also deal with general education kids. Like we're the glue that hold everything together. And we're not feeling valued. We're not feeling like you guys even notice the hard work that we do. I mean, we're in schools that were combined. I don't feel that we were completely ready for that because it's been stressful, especially having a lot of kids in one area that wasn't made for that number of children. And then you've got the New Richmond. I mean, that place is just huge, but it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And we do need more assistance, but I don't feel outsourcing to other countries is the right answer. I mean, I work in a classroom with a Filipino teacher. She's awesome. She's great. But I think we need to work on morale first and getting everybody to work together as a team, as a unit, showing value to all your employees, whether they be bus monitors, teachers, bus drivers, noon duties. I mean, I would like to see things get back to the way they were when I first started working here. It would be a wonderful thing.
Greetings, esteemed members of the board. My name is Maren Johns. I am the RSP para at Pierce Elementary. This is my 5th year working for the school district. And like Sylvia has said, I have concerns about how paras are treated. When I first started, I was thrown in with no training. I was rushed in as quickly as I could because my job was needed. And I'm aghast at what has happened because this is my living. This is the job I do every day because I love the students that I work with. And then I find out I didn't even know about ELOP. I did not know anything about getting more hours. And I'm the only one in my family who is currently able to work. I am the sole moneymaker, and I had no clue I could support my family even better. And I just really wish that we could get more support because being thrown into that job was terrifying. I have taken the brunt of I worked SDC the first couple years, and I took several beatings from students, and that was not in the job description, and I was not trained on how to handle that until at least a year later. As a paraprofessional, I did not receive training. My hours have not really increased despite going to trainings. And then I found out that we were going to bring in more people to work more hours, which we could not get. and I really hope the board reconsiders their decision. Thank you.
Thank you. We have met the 30-minute time limit for the public input. We'll go ahead and postpone until the end of the regular meeting. If anybody else wants to speak, we'll go ahead and move to item 7, Policy Review Committee. 7.1, approval of updated board policies and administrative regulations.
Yes, thank you. Our Board Policy Review Committee met recently to review the exhibits attached to this item. And since that time, there was a recommended additional change, which we added as Exhibit H. And it was the addition of one word that was inadvertently left out of the Safe Routes to School policy from the CSBA model policy. But in one place, it's talking about motorized and non-motorized scooters, and in the other place, it did not mention motorized scooters. So thank you to Board Member Tim Johnson for catching that. And so we would recommend approval of these updated policies and regulations with the approval of Exhibit H instead of Exhibit D because it has that change. We're happy to answer any questions.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board?
Well, I will say, once again, I was driving down over there by Albertsons, the old Albertsons, and this guy's flying down the street in one of those electric scooters on the wrong side of the road, and right through the stop sign, and on he went. So I think this is a great job. It was a good time for us to update these safety procedures.
Any further question, Mr. Ferris?
I just have a comment. First of all, I know I said this before, but I really do appreciate the process we're now using for these policies. I think it gives us the time and the energy, focus to, our major job is setting policy, and this gives the attention it deserves and needs. I also want to show appreciation for the policy regarding to parent and guardian involvement participation. I think it speaks very clearly to our objectives and is right on target. And I think we all know, and we need to refer to it as many times as possible, how important the parent and community participation is when we are dealing with the students and bring them to a place where they can understand and grow. It's got to be a team, and it takes all of us, and that's a key part of our success. And I appreciate the fact that we're giving the appropriate attention to it and see that we can develop those relationships in as many ways as we can.
Any further questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from staff or community? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Move on to item 2.1 of the special concurrent calendar. 2.1, approval of updated board bylaw exhibit. Dr. Moore.
Yes, thank you. At our Monday meeting on December 15th, we reviewed board policy or bylaws, and the exhibit that we had was outdated ed code language, and the board gave direction to update the exhibit to be what CSBA recommends. And so that is what we have here for consideration.
Move the recommended action.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from staff or community? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. We have no items in 8, educational administration. Move on to item 9, personal administration. 9.1, presentation of initial Sunshine contract proposal for the 26-27 school year from the Desert Area Teachers Association to the Board of Education. Mr. Ault.
President Scott, Superintendent Dr. Moore, Board, staff, and community. The Desert Area Teachers Association has provided its initial Sunshine contract proposal for the 26-27 school year. We will commence negotiations as we return in the new year, and the financial implications are unknown. It is recommended the board receive the initial Sunshine contract proposal, and it is in your board packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board, staff, or community? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we've received that. It's unanimous. Thank you. Move on to, thank you, Mr. Alden. Move on to 9.2. Creation of a new classified technology position, instructional materials and programs technician. Mr. Alden?
When an employee resigns or retires from a position, we take the opportunity to review and evaluate the relevance of the position. Some cases, it is determined that the older, more antiquated position is no longer needed. In other cases, there needs to be changes to the job description. So the district seeks to establish a new classified position, instructional materials and programs technician. A draft of the job description is included in your board packet for review. While the position is new, it incorporates the job responsibilities that were previously a component of the now vacant position, library textbook technician, or the soon-to-be vacant position. Financial implications: while this is a new position, it replaces a previously occupied position that will now remain vacant. However, the new job responsibilities require specialized training and the ability to navigate and help manage multiple digital learning resource platforms. Therefore, the placement on the salary schedule will be shifted from range 26 to a range 33 to align with the new requirements of the position. It's recommended that you approve the new classified position, instructional materials and program technician as presented.
Move to recommend action.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board?
I just have one.
Mr. Johnson?
Is that a full-time position?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from the board? Any questions from staff or community? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? It's unanimous. Move on to item 9.3, item 9.3, new certificated management job description, deputy superintendent. Dr. Moore?
Yes, thank you, President Scott. As part of our ongoing commitment to organizational excellence and strategic leadership, we regularly review our administrative structure to ensure it's meeting our current and future needs. And as part of that process, we have determined that a new position of deputy superintendent should be established. And this position is designed to provide enhanced leadership and oversight across all district departments, with a particular focus on education services, and to support the superintendent in implementing the board's strategic plan and our local control accountability plan. And so this item is the job description, which does not in itself have a cost. When upon the hiring, which would be the next item, that cost would be identified and understood. But this role, as you'll see in the attachment, is fairly extensive in duties. It is a new position, and it is one that we are not adding people. We're looking at elevating one of the current assistant superintendents to the role. So it would not be adding people, but adding roles and duties. Frankly, much like the last position that Mr. Ald was reviewing, is as we have a chance to review, it's a full-time classified position that is increased in salary, jumping multiple levels because the duties are different. And that's what we see here is the duties of the deputy superintendent position. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I do have a comment. I think, first of all, I appreciate you bringing this to us, Dr. Moore, because I think it's really critical and important for our success as a district to accomplish what we're trying to do. I also think for the board, I think it's a good opportunity for us to look back in the last 2.5, 3 years of what we've been moving toward and how this is an important step in that move. And if you'll remember, when our last superintendent resigned, and we had conversations about what was important to us as a board, we were clear that when we went out and looked for a new superintendent, that we wanted to define who we were as a district. And in that definition, we identified a number of initiatives that we were working on. And we made it clear to those people who were applying that it was critical to us that these initiatives that we were moving forward with, and we were moving forward with because we did not consider ourselves a status quo district, that those needed to be maintained, and we needed to not even miss a step. And I think we even, if you'll recall, we even had discussions about should we introduce the concept that with what we have in front of us, should we look at a different structure for our management team. So move forward. And indeed, we kept moving on those initiatives. Not only did we move forward on those initiatives, but this district had introduced several new initiatives in closing a school, opening two magnet schools, and I think I've heard from each one of you over the last year how excited we all are as a board to see how much focus is given to instructional leadership in a way that historically we just have not had that significant a focus on exactly how we're going to improve instruction in the classroom. And that's a critical focus. And so I describe that history because I believe that's what brings us where we are today. If you'll also recall, over the last year, several times in discussions, we've talked about how many initiatives we had going and how difficult it was to make sure we did not drop a ball, we didn't stub our toe, and there wasn't room for that kind of error. Folks stepped up, we made it happen, and over this last year and a half, we also have talked about, okay, is this sustainable? And I think the answer is, if we're going to maintain that kind of instructional focus on improvement and getting what we need to have for our kids in the classroom, if we're going to maintain the focus on the success of all these initiatives put in place, we have to have the leadership to do it. And I applaud the presentation here today that says, here's how we can do it. It does take a growth in leadership. It takes more time and commitment, and it takes a spreading of the responsibility. And I think it introduces to our district a deeper bench, if you will, and it also introduces to our district growth opportunities for our people with a vision of there is a path for me in this district to grow, and it also lays out the potential for succession planning that we have not ever had in the past. I think these are wonderful, key, important elements that we need to have to be successful, and so I support it wholeheartedly.
Thank you, Mr. Ferris. Did we get a motion?
No, we haven't done a motion yet.
Did you say you haven't had the motion yet?
I was asking if we had a motion.
I thought we had, I'm sorry, I'll move.
Do we have a motion?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board? Any further questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from staff or the community?
This question's about the position, not about the employment agreement. They're
The
two different
position.
nuances.
Yeah.
Is this dissolving the position that this previous person was previously filling, or is that gonna be backfilled by somebody else? Like, is it creating an additional position, or just like?
So it would be a different job description we are not planning to fill, so you'll see only one action for a human on the agenda. We are not planning to backfill and have both at the same time. Both are just job descriptions. This does not delete the other job description of assistant superintendent services. It's on the books, if you will. This adds a layer of a deputy superintendent, but you'll see based on the action on our agenda, it is not a new body in the cabinet level team.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments from the board, staff, or community? We We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. And Dr. Moore, you alluded to the finances. The deputy superintendent sets Dr. Safko's salary at $213,963 between January 1st and June 30th, 2026, and includes a deputy superintendent's salary schedule for future years, with step 2 beginning on July 1st, 2026. The agreement notes that the deputy superintendent's salary schedule may be increased at the discretion of the board and will be increased commensurate with on-schedule and off-schedule increases provided to management personnel salary schedules. The agreement continues the term of Dr. Safko's employment contract through the end of the 27-28 school year and provides for further one-year extensions as the deputy superintendent, so long as Dr. Safko receives satisfactory or better performance evaluations. Under the deputy superintendent agreement, Dr. Safko may continue to access the medical, dental, and vision benefits available to other administrators. She will receive 24 vacation days per year and may be paid for up to 10 earned but unused vacation days per year. Earned but unused vacation days will be paid at the deputy superintendent's daily rate that is in effect at the time she makes a request for payment for those unused vacation days. She will also continue to receive reimbursement for ordinary expenses, travel expenses, and district-paid ACSA dues. The district may also approve Dr. Safko's position in other professional associations and professional growth opportunities, including related costs as an expense. Dr. Safko will continue to receive 1 sick day per month, the same personal necessity leave and bereavement leave as the teachers, and holidays. Dr. Safko will also have continued access to a district cell phone, laptop, tablet, and other technology. Finally, Dr. Safko may also access an executive coach consultant during the first 2 years of her employment as the deputy superintendent at the district's expense. I'll go ahead and open up item 9.4, approval of employment agreement for deputy superintendent. Dr. Moore.
As you read the overview of as required by law, I'm happy to answer any questions. I think that Dr. Safko has more than shown herself capable of meeting the full and complete job description that was just approved. We've seen her skills over the years, and including through the reorganization work that she spearheaded, including the many advisory committees. She helped create that model and implement and lead many of them personally, as well as supporting teams behind the scenes. As we look to increase our systems and work smarter and not harder, streamline protocols, and integrate, not just work in silos of departments, but work across the district, I see her skills as being instrumental, and therefore her selection for this position. Happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions. I just have a couple comments I'd like to make.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Campbell.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this. You know, we've supported many different departments. Dr. Safko has supported many different departments. She's ran 10 or 11 advisory committees. She's led the charge with closing the school with Pam Smith. Her and Lisa Decker spent time over at Richmond when we opened the Richmond School, which was a huge job getting that school open. And she's always helping Dr. Moore when Dr. Moore calls upon her to go to different schools. And I sat down and talked to Dr. Safko about this job. And this job, this new job, has many different lanes. And I applaud Dr. Moore for giving that option for Dr. Safko to now move into different lanes. Because there's so many things that go on, and I think that when you have the ability to move into different lanes, that gives her the ability to forward think about what needs to be done in those situations before it just happens. And I think that's really important, that you have a plan before the situation happens. And with allowing her into these new lanes, I think that's going to be a big benefit to our district. I mean, our district has evolved with a brand new school, a closing school, 2 magnet schools. We've changed our independent study into a school. We have a middle college program, so we have evolved into many different things. And I think it's time that it allows Dr. Moore the ability to have other people do some things instead of having her have to go in so many different ways. Now, I don't want you to get me wrong here. From what we've heard before, there are things that we can do to hopefully help some of these people out that have talked earlier on. We have many administrators in this room. We've had many staff and many paras and just complete staff that have gone above and beyond their abilities. And when asked to do something extra, they have no problem stepping up and doing extra things. And it's just my hope that we're able to, hopefully with these people doing all these extra things, be able to perform different leadership ability and to hopefully give other people the ability to evolve and profit into different leadership positions as we go along into this new phase. We keep changing things and we keep doing many things in our district. And so hopefully next year we'll be able to reward other people with different things as they become involved in new leadership roles. So thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Any further questions or comments from the board? Mr. Ferris?
I'd just like to say again, I appreciate you giving us the information that you have about what the contract will include. I think it's really important, as I mentioned before, to put this into play. And I think what needs to be done is a very important work. And I believe that what you've described to us as the contract is appropriate for the level of work that's being required and the value of the work that is being exposed before us. And I also believe that if you look at similar districts and similar areas of employment throughout the state of California, you'll find this is very much right where it ought to be as far as the compensation level, as is unfortunately the case with most of our positions. It's a little on the low side, but that's part of what we deal with the challenges in our community. But it absolutely is appropriate for what value it has, and I am convinced that in the end, it is a value proposition that will be very profitable for this district to allow us to achieve what we need to continue to achieve in improvement in our educational opportunities.
Thank you, Mr. Ferris. Any questions, more questions?
I just have one thing.
Mr. Johnson?
As we started looking at this position, it was interesting that the word, deputy, assistant, associate, they all have meanings. And I kind of pushed back on it for a moment, but then I realized that by picking deputy, a deputy means that if Dr. Moore is gone, the deputy can act in her stead with all the roles and responsibilities as the superintendent. So we never had that in the past. It's always been, it's the next person in line, but they really didn't have the authority to do anything. So this actually gives her the opportunity, Dr. Moore the opportunity to delegate authority to Dr. Savko so she can do other strategic vision stuff that the district needs. And I think I've only been back on the board for 6 months. I'm very impressed with the leadership roles that the district's taken just to bring up new leaders. We went to leadership training this week, and Bill and I talked, and it was exciting to see there's like 15 classified teachers and principals, there for that leadership training, and that we're actually investing in our our employees so we can actually have some kind of succession planning and just make everybody's a leader. You know, I made an example of, you know, the little kindergartner in line with their buddies behind them. They're leading at that moment, and that's kind of where leadership begins as humans. You know, your kindergarten classroom with 5 kids on the playground, and you know, the one in front, they're the leader, she's the leader, they're out in front, and you know, that kind of role begins early. So it's exciting to see that as a culture in our district. I mean, if you look over here, I mean, it's like all that stuff, it takes leadership, and I'm excited that we're taken care of at the cabinet level so we can actually have succession planning. So in the future, you know, if Dr. Moore decides to leave or anybody decides to leave or move on without opportunities, that we actually have a plan to backfill and give our cabinet and principals and others opportunity to move up in those leadership roles. So I think it's a great position. It does cost money, but good leadership does cost money. So I'm for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from staff or community?
Do we know what, I know like what you mentioned the salary schedule is, but what is the actual like increase in cost between the current position and what it's being shifted to, or ballparked?
They're different positions.
Correct. I'm not super familiar with the management schedule. It's not easy to find because it's not like pretty published on the Sierra Sands website like everything else. So theoretically, how much of a financial implication is this for the district between the position that is being absolved and the new position?
About $39,000.
Okay, so about 2 full-time pairs worth-ish. I think I'm pro leader in general, but I think you made a comment, Mr. Campbell, about like maybe next year you can be rewarded for being a leader, and I think that's great, but I think to a certain extent we are building up so much leadership that is no longer like working face to face with our students that we end up with this like weird out of touch like dystopian land of all these leaders that are so great and being highly rewarded for that and getting all of these bonuses and stipends and professional development and their dues and all of these great things that are paid for, but like they're not actually working directly with our students at all, ever.
Okay, let's stay on track with this item that's on the agenda.
But this is on track with the agenda. Like, but we're talking about these positions that are great and lovely and perpetuating things, but we're not actually like, it just feels very like you too can do this at some point, but can you actually? Like, I don't know. It just feels kind of gross. But that's all I got.
I will say that I think you misunderstood what I was trying to say at the end there, so. But we can always talk if you want to talk about it.
Any further questions from board, staff, or community on 9.4? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? It's unanimous. Dr. Safko, do we have to change your title now? Can we still call you Dr. Safko, or do we have to call you Deputy Superintendent? Either one works? Okay. All right. Move on to item 10, General Administration, 10.1, gifts to the district. Mr. Campbell.
Yes, the following gift was received: an HP Smart Tank 6001 wireless all-in-one printer with a cash value of $240. It was donated to China Lake Junior High School by Donors Choose, a nonprofit organization that helps public school teachers get resources for their classrooms. And there you go. Donations have provided support to the district, have a positive financial impact. Thank you. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board, staff, or community? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 It's unanimous. Move on to item 11, Construction Administration. 11.1, report to the board, construction activities and issues. Mr. Moore. You limping? You okay?
Thank you for
You
asking.
can tell me later.
President Scott.
I was looking at my
President
paperwork, I
Scott.
didn't see it until the end there.
Superintendent Dr. Moore and members of the board, faculty, and community. Thank you for asking about my leg. Yeah, I'm wearing a brace. I have learned my lesson. Don't bring up politics at Thanksgiving. So
There you go.
that's- I tore a ligament and I am healing faster than they thought, so I'm grateful. Crutches are gone and brace should be gone in a few weeks. And,
It'll be good by next football season.
to watch. Here's an update. Let's start with China Lake Junior High School. Some important things have been going on with what we've been calling the Murray expansion, because we started this back when it was Murray. This was yesterday in the, I was going to call it the new staff parking lot, but it's going to be a parking lot for more than just new staff. So this morning, we actually had the hot mix asphalt being poured. Hooray. This was terrific. In the big picture, we've been trying to coordinate the many truckloads of concrete and the asphalt together. I'll tell you why in a moment, because here's where we were going to pour so much concrete. The infrastructure's in place where we'll plant the classrooms that we're adding to the campus. Nobody cares about the infrastructure. Nobody bothers to wonder where flush goes or where the wires come from. But as with most things, it's the stuff we don't see that makes things work. They just want to get the buildings on. So today, we actually had the concrete being poured as well. It's a big deal. All that magical infrastructure, now it's covered, but it's really looking great. Point of contact with saving money, I was contacted by our general contractor, said, we can finish pouring today. It's going to cost you this many $1,000s for the overtime, or we can remobilize everyone and it'll count this many $10,000s. It was an easy solution. We're doing things smart. We're really trying to squeeze 11 pennies out of every dime, and we're going to come in under budget, I'm telling you now. If you've never seen a caisson, tonight is your lucky day. We drill a hole down to the center of the earth. In this case, they're about 11 feet deep, and they fill it with concrete, and they plant the structural supports for the awnings, shades, and other standings. Each one of these caissons that are about 11 feet deep have over 7 cubic yards of concrete. To put that in perspective, 1 cubic yard has about 200 gallons. And each of these holes have 7 cubic yards of concrete poured in there. These suckers are not going anywhere. This is going to last a while.
Isn't a truckload 10? What's a truck? Yeah.
Isn't that something? And I heard part of the story. I got some of the backstory for you, Board Member Campbell. Apparently, Dave Andreasen ordered a equipment carrier, but somebody heard Harrier. And actually, when the Navy says, hey, everybody get out of your way and stop digging, we don't want anything to flick onto the windshield, we stop. And we let them pull, and half the guys out there were actually putting their hand over their hair like it's an American flag. It was really cool. And if you want to see this, you can go down to the museum and check it out yourself. It's really something. On the previous slide where I showed you the infrastructure, the modulars are supposed to be arriving on campus next week, so we're really excited about moving forward with that. A quick note about Richmond. I've mentioned before that Shane's maintenance and operation team have had classrooms on closed system temperate range. We've been awaiting this next winter break when the students are out of school, yay. And Lennox has 4 technicians lined up to install the new thermostats, sensors, and control boards, many thousands of dollars of infrastructure that they're handing to the district to make sure they're still covering some other things that were overlooked by another contract, and Lennox has just stepped up to the plate. I want to say it on record. They've really done us right. And now that the kids are going to be out of the classroom next week, they have these technicians coming in, they'll drop the new CO2. We've tried it on Building E, which has 5 rooms, and everything's been working well for the last month. And so now we'll extrapolate that onto A, B, C, and D buildings. And when the kids return after the holiday, temperature issues will be a thing of the past, knock again. This is the update on the construction. We're still working on taking care of all the check marks, funding acquisitions, land selection on the options we have for what's coming up next. tomorrow, we have a second round of interviews with finalists for architecture choices for our upcoming Pierce 2 project. And all the stuff that we start an hour before we ever put a year before we put a shovel in the dirt, we're taking care of those things up front. That's my December update. Thank you, President Scott, Superintendent Dr. Moore, board, faculty, and community.
This is for informational only. Any questions or comments? For the board, staff, or community? Nope. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Get better.
Thanks for good news before the holiday. That was
Yes,
nice.
yes. Move on to item 12, business and administration. 12.1, adoption of resolution number 182526 regarding the actual accounting of developer fees for the 24-25 fiscal year. Jennifer.
Good evening, President Scott, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Moore, staff, and community. This evening, I am presenting a request to approve a resolution about the annual accounting of the developer fees for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, which is our Capital Facilities Fund, Fund 25. Government Code Sections 66001 and 66006 require public entities such as school districts collecting statutory school facility fees to make public and report to governing boards an annual accounting regarding the status of the account in which these funds reside. The board's adoption of Resolution 182526 and the two accompanying exhibits complete the district's compliance with the government codes referred above. Again, this report is for the 2024-2025 school year. The financial implications is that the beginning balance of our Fund 25 in July 2024 started out with $939,078.73. We had earned income of $13,309.96 from interest, as well as developer fee income from the city and the county developer fees, which combined totaled $296,957.27. The expenses incurred included county administration fees of $1,324.54 and expenses in the amount of $1,104,480.93. And those expenses were toward various construction projects, leases of some of our portable equipment, and so forth. We were required to make a fair market value adjustment per GASB, Government Accounting Standards Board, GASB number 72, and we had to reverse our prior year fair market value adjustment and post the new fair market value adjustment, which those two totaled just over $17,500. And our ending balance as of June 30th, 2025 was $161,034.41. The income and the expense information, as well as the summary graphs, are included with this board item as exhibits. It's noteworthy that the continuing pace of both the commercial and residential developer fees is a positive sign for both the district and the community in 2024, as in 24-25, as in 23-24. The developer fees collected by the city of Ridgecrest was greater than what was collected by the county. So that indicates very well for the city. And I also need to note that in fiscal year 2021, GASB 72 became a required component of all funds in the audited financial statements. This adjustment for fair market value is measurement of the value of the fund at a given date. Usually the fiscal year end It does not affect the actual cash in the fund. And our recommendation is that the board adopt Resolution 18-2526 and the accompanying exhibits as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from staff or community? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Move on to 12.2, approval for purchase of SAM storage upgrade and professional services with AMS.net and GT. It's funny, I had Jennifer's name on there, but obviously Scott's going to come up and do it because we might have to ask you some questions about all these acronyms.
Sure. Good evening, President Scott, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Moore, staff, and community members. I am presenting for the purchase of the SAN storage upgrade and professional services. Storage Area Network, a SAN, is the district's central high-speed data storage system, essentially the backbone that supports every major technology service we rely on, including all the Sierra SAN's unified VMware virtual servers, which power core systems such as student information, finance, HR, security cameras, curriculum platforms, and the Cisco phone system. The current SAN is aging, nearing full capacity, and approaching end of life, which increases the risk of system slowdowns, hardware failures, and outages that could disrupt instruction and critical district operations. Because all the district's VMware virtual machines reside on this SAN, any failure would impact nearly every system that is used on a daily basis. Upgrading the SAN is essential to ensure reliability, improve performance, expand storage capacity, and provide modern data protection and redundancy. This upgrade strengthens the foundation of Sierra SAN's unified's entire technology environment, reduces long-term costs, and ensures we can support current and future district needs without risking downtime or data loss. Pursuant to the public contract sections 10290 and 10298, the governing board of a school district may, without competitive bidding, contract with suppliers that have been awarded contracts, master agreements, multiple award schedules, cooperative agreements, and other types of agreements with state agencies that leverage the state's buying power for acquisitions authorized under specific sections of the California Public Contract Code. District staff received and reviewed a proposal from AMS.net, or MGT, for the SAN storage upgrade. The proposal incorporates the terms and conditions established by Merced County through Focus Contract 2021092. Financial implications, the total cost is $358,545.97 and will be funded from the 01 General Fund. It is recommended that the board authorize the purchase of SAN storage upgrade and professional services to AMS Net MGT in the amount of $358,545.97 as presented.
And I would just clarify, originally we had thought it might have to be out of Fund 01, but we did subsequently change it. So what your board packet says is correct. It will be Fund 35, school facilities. We found it is allowable, so it will not be coming from the general fund. And that was an important shift we were able to identify.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Move recommend action.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board? Tim?
So I assume for resiliency and redundancy, we're gonna have, is it all co-located in one spot, all this equipment, or?
It is. So it's in our main data center at the district office.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments from the board, staff, or community? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, sir. Move on to item 13. We'll temporarily adjourn the regular meeting to conduct the In Your Current Schools Financing Authority Board of Directors meeting. Item 1, adoption of the agenda. Any changes?
No changes.
Item 2, approval minutes of the regular meeting of November 20th, 2025. Any corrections? Those minutes will stand. Item 3, authorization to use In Your Current Schools Financing Authority funds for settlement payment for facilities alternatives for the Ridgecrest Elementary Academy of Language, Music, and Science. Jennifer.
That acronym is REALMS.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of long ago from the 1900s background information. In 1990, Sierra Sands Unified...
It wasn't that long ago.
Sierra Sands Unified School District and Lone Pine Unified School District formed the ICSFA that we said the full words for. As a result of this agreement, the Lone Pine Unified School District agreed to make annual lease payments on property that they leased from the authority by the Lone Pine School District. And the funds are held at the Kern County Treasurer, Tax Collector, and are used for facility-related costs. So using those funds, the district has agreed to pay Realms $250,000 in lieu of facilities for the 2025-26 through 2034-35 school year. It is appropriate that the funds from the ICSFA be used for the payment to Realms. The financial implication, again, is $250,000 for the course of 10 school years, 10 years. And it is recommended that the board authorize a fund transfer and expenditure from the In Your Current Schools Financing Authority in the amount of $250,000 for the 2025-26 through 2034, 2035 payment to the Realms as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from staff or community? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
We'll adjourn the In Your Current Schools Financial Authority, reopen the regular meeting, and go to item 14, organization of the board. Dr. Moore.
Thank you, sir. This is where we elect a board president that will serve, that will start service at the conclusion of this board meeting and serve through the December 2026 board meeting. And so I would open up for discussion and nominations, and looking forward to hearing your interest.
I'd like to nominate Robert Camden.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Second.
Okay, then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, congratulations, Mr. Campbell.
Do we have to do a roll call vote? Mr. Ferris.
We do? Oh,
Yeah, and technically that was a motion to close debate, right? Yeah.
so that was the motion to
So you could-
close, which was all
now
together.
now we need to
Now
vote
we'll
on
do the roll call
Yeah,
vote.
yeah.
Kim, could you call that out, please? Roll call vote for approval for Mr. Campbell to be the new school board president.
Mr. Johnson, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Campbell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Scott, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Campbell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ferris, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, all unanimous. Thank you very much.
If I could just say something, thank you very much for the opportunity. I look forward to not only building stronger relationships with all the board, Dr. Moore, Deputy Safco, and also all the staff and community of this great city of Ridgecrest. So thank you.
Fantastic. And so would you want to run?
14.2, election of vice president, clerk of the board, Dr. Moore.
Thank you, sir. I will open up for nominations of vice president, similarly to start service upon the conclusion of this meeting through December 2026 school board meeting.
I have a question. Mr. Johnson, are you interested in serving as clerk? Then I will nominate Tim Johnson.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any further nominations, or would we like a motion to close nominations?
We don't need a motion if there are no, you can close.
Okay, thank you.
Saves the vote.
Just trying to be consistent here. All right, then we have a motion and a second. So we'll do a roll call vote for appointing Mr. Johnson as Vice President of the school board. And Kim, would you please call for the roll call vote?
Mr. Johnson, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Campbell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Scott, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Campbell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ferris, how do you vote?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Move on to item 14.3, election of board representative and alternate representative to the committee that elects members to the county committee on school district organization. Dr. Moore.
Thank you. This is currently served as Ms. Mary Campbell and Mr. Robert Campbell as an alternate representative. I understand this committee does not usually have much of a commitment, but it is an important role that we do elect and are required to do so. For when it does serve, we are ready to serve in that capacity. So happy to open for any nominations for, we'll need a representative and an alternate, please.
I'd like to recommend Mrs. Campbell if she's willing to do it again.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
I would second that.
Okay, do we want to vote separately or together with an alternate? Hand them one at a time?
I would nominate Robert to continue as the alternate.
It's fine with me.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for Ms. Mary Campbell as the primary representative and Mr. Robert Campbell as the alternate representative to the committee that elects members of the County Committee on School District Organization. And with that, anything further? I'll close nominations, and Kim, could you please call for the roll call vote?
Mr. Johnson, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Campbell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Scott, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Campbell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ferris, how do you vote?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Move on to item 14.4, selection of 2 board trustees to serve on the board policy review committee. Dr. Moore.
So this is our standing committee that meets approximately monthly to review the board policies. As we saw earlier this evening, some of the results of that group, we do a fine-tooth comb review of required and optional language and categorize that in the form of minutes. These are posted meetings, open to the public per the Brown Act, and Ms. Kramer does a great job in helping us gather those minutes to hopefully make that more transparent. So all 5 board members are able to see the discussion, and of course we can still discuss. None are approved in committee. They are all brought to the full board for approval at a subsequent meeting. And so we'd be looking for 2 members to serve on this committee, opening nominations.
I recommend Mr. Ferris and Mr. Scott.
So, thank you for that consideration. I honestly, well, I have a significant commitment for school board service as director, and I think it makes it difficult for me to give it the time that it needs. So I would decline unless someone really feels like that's necessary.
I'll take my nomination back and nominate Mr. Scott and Mrs. Campbell, if they so serve.
Absolutely.
So there's some continuity.
I'll second that.
Any further nominations? All right, then I'll close nominations, and we have a motion and a second for Mr. Scott and Mary Campbell to serve on the Board Policy Review Committee. Do we need a roll call vote? Continuing? Okay, so Kim, would you please?
Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mrs. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Ferris?
Aye.
Unanimous?
We'll move on to item 14.5, selection of board members to attend upcoming conferences. I don't think we need to do a roll call vote on this, right? Because it's not, it has nothing to do with the offices.
And I will happily turn that facilitation back to you, Mr. Scott.
We can do that, 14.5, so.
I don't mind speaking to it, but
yeah,
as far
that's
as
fine.
calling for those votes, you do it so much better. The board previously approved the travel expenses for these conferences, but we did want to formalize the names of the individuals that were attending. And so we have a couple of conferences that we typically attend, have representation of the board. And one is the CSBA and AXA Coast to Coast event coming up soon in Washington, D.C. this April. And then NAFIS and FLISA have some conferences coming up throughout the spring. So we would be looking at the winter FLISA meeting, the spring NAFIS conference, and the summer FLISA meeting. Though the FLISA and NAFIS are usually the same person because it all has to do with impact aid. So we're hoping for some discussion and clarification so that Kim can assist us with those travel arrangements.
And would,
I mean,
who's interested in attending? Because that's. a
I'm very
commitment,
interested in continuing with NAFIS and FLISA. I mean, I think there's a big impact there for our district, and I think having continuity is good for the district to do that. So if you would have me, I'd be, you know. be
If
willing to
you're
go.
interested, I appreciate the fact that you're serving now and you served in your prior term.
Right.
And I think you're right. I think having that, you know, hit the ground running or continue running would be helpful for us. So I would nominate you if you're willing.
Thank you, I am.
And I don't even know that we need a formal vote of action. We at least
think
need a
it's a
consensus.
consensus,
It's consensus.
Yeah.
So that was the
The NAFIS and
NAFIS and
FLISA,
FLISA.
the second
so
item.
coast to coast.
Correct.
You have interest in.
So I have a question. I think, Mary, you mentioned you might be interested in serving on Coast to Coast. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would be interested in going.
Then I would like to recommend Mary for that. And I'm going to shamelessly solicit your support that maybe I could be the other person on that. I do have a specifically strong relationship with our congressman, which I think is particularly helpful on this particular visitation. And then over the last 3 years, because I serve as a director for our region quite often looks to me to guide the discussion as we work through the lobbying. So I would like to offer myself to serve if you would be willing to allow me to continue that.
I think it's great, and with your CSBA directorship, that's, I mean, your years in that organization pay dividends at that level too. And you're articulate on all the items, so I think you're a great person for that.
Thank you.
I think everybody knows him, that's for sure. From the last time I went, it seemed like he had friends with everybody, so.
So I think we have consensus. I think we're squared away on that action item.
Thank you very much. We'll be in touch for travel arrangements.
Perfect. So we will actually move into the special concurrent meeting. 3.1, nominations for representative to the California School Boards Association, CSBA. And I think, Bill, were you going to discuss that?
Yes, we have the opportunity to make nominations to this position, and we can make multiple nominations. I specifically, somehow we missed getting it on our agenda, and I specifically asked because one of the current delegates from Kern County had mentioned to me that she'd like to be nominated, and her new board is kind of reorganizing. She wasn't sure they were going to be able to come up with a nomination, and that is Pam Jacobson. She serves in the Standard School Board District. So I would like to propose that we as a board nominate her to serve. But I also think if we have board members who are interested in serving as delegates, we could also nominate someone from our district. There is a slight chance that we may be perceived as double dipping, and we may not get support because as my directorship, I also serve on the delegate assembly. But if someone's willing to serve, they can certainly put their name forward, and I would suggest if you think that's something you're interested in, in this conversation now, share that that's something you're interested in. I know, Tim, you've done it before. Is that something?
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna nominate somebody, I wouldn't mind being nominated again.
Okay.
The thing is, doing FLISA and the other ones, I don't wanna spread myself too thin. But if we have another, let's not do it this year.
Okay.
And then,
I mean,
next year, if we have a spot, we can do it. But I think somebody, it'd be nice to nominate somebody. I mean, it adds value, 'cause that extra day and a half, 2 days every year you get to do CSBA stuff, it kind of opens your eyes to a lot of things you'll never see at the district
Yeah, so
level.
basically there are 2 in-person meetings. Each one's 2 days long.
Like May and
It's
December.
May and December,
Yeah.
or end of November, depending on how
The
that,
year.
how the calendar shakes out. And then there are now monthly electronic meetings that we do as well to keep us up to date. So there's, and those are just regional caucuses. So it helps share what's going on, helps bring you up to date on what's going on within the state and those kinds of things. So if somebody else on this board would be interested in doing that, I think Tim is right, it has value. It is a commitment.
I'd be interested in looking at that.
And if that's where we are, then I would like to see that we nominate both Robert and Pam for that position.
And then from there, they fill out their application, then goes to all the districts. and they'll
Yeah,
vote.
so you'll- yeah.
another meeting, they'll come back and we'll actually vote to.
Yeah, it'll come back to vote, and I would also encourage, since Robert, you're relatively new in the circle, that you put together something that tells who you are and what you stand for, and we can send it out to other districts throughout Kern County, because they'll all be voting, and for them to have some such sense of who you are can be very helpful to persuade that.
Sure.
Like a mini resume.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from the board, staff, or community? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. We'll adjourn the special concurrent meeting, go back into the regular meeting to 14.6, adoption of the board meeting calendar for the 26-27 school year. Dr. Moore?
So this is the meeting where we usually set the calendar for the new school year, and the one that we have proposed mirrors this year. So it's predominantly the third Thursday of the month, with some exceptions that you can see there, including June, where we have staff going off on summer, so we tend to do it on that second Thursday. We will still, by statute, have other meetings, including, I could see like in December, we'll have to have that first interim beforehand, and we haven't pre-slugged all of those, but these are the monthly regular meetings that we're anticipating at this time.
So is that December 17th, is that the Friday before?
Thursday
The
before,
the Thursday before the holiday?
I believe so.
I would personally like to recommend we move that a week earlier, because this time of year, it's so busy for everybody.
How does that look with the annual conference, though?
The annual conference is,
The annual conference will be the 2nd through the 5th,
yeah.
so we would come back that Saturday, and the following Thursday would be the 10th instead of the 17th.
I'm just trying to figure out a way, because, I mean, people are just crushed these last couple weeks before the break, and it'd be nice to not have to sit out here when tomorrow's.
So the organizational meeting also has some requirements for
Has
timing,
Yeah, I
right?
don't
15th or
think we're
something?
allowed to do it that early. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's.
No,
a
it
better way
makes
of doing
absolute
it.
sense. There's a lot of
And I
things we
don't
have to
know when the
dance
first
around there.
interim's gotta be done either, it's like, it's got dates too, so.
The first interim has to be done by the 15th, so what we could
We go with
choose,
special meeting anyways for that.
right, unless we wanted to try to do a Tuesday, now we potentially wouldn't have this space, but we could look at trying to do it all at one meeting. But otherwise, yeah, usually they have these requirement, it has to be the third week of December usually. Yeah.
Okay.
Good discussion, though.
Yep. Do we have a motion?
Move to recommend action.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments from the board, staff, or community? in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Move on to item 15, consent calendar.
Move entire consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments from board, staff, or community? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Item 16, future agenda. Any future agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move into 17, launch. Okay. The elevator to success is out of order. You don't have to use the stairs, one step at a time. Not sure who Joe Gerard was, but great quote. We will go back into closed session. When we finish closed session, we'll come out and adjourn the meeting. Just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Stay safe.